Hey, hello again, everyone. I'll be with you shortly. And again, thanks for being here on your Sunday night or your Monday morning here in Asia. And we'll get started in just a bit. Just a heads up, guys. Got an email from Ivan. He won't be able to make the live stream, and I think I should let you all know that ahead of time. So Ivan from Wall Street Silver will not be able to make it, but you're here, so I will be glad to include more comments in this live stream and let's see what we can come up with. So again, Ivan will not be able to make it during this live stream and with you shortly. Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Silver Bullion Television SBTV. I'm your host, Patrick Vieira, and I'm glad you could make it here. Once again, as I just announced, fortunately, Ivan will not be able to make it. Ivan from Wall Street Silver. So it's just you and me. Don't really have a scripted program for today, but we're going to go ahead and get through this. There were a lot of things happening that I bookmarked on Twitter, so we can always go ahead and take a look at current events and news. So, again, appreciate you all being here. And as one commenter just posted, hopefully he's getting those billboards ready. As you know, they are the Wall Street Silver Movement. They are going to be putting up billboards throughout the U.S. And I was planning on asking Ivan if they were going to also put it in other countries as well. So we'll find out. Maybe not today, but we'll find out on another day if that's going to be happening. But again, you're here, I'm here, so hopefully we can still have a good program and get through this all. Little bit of a roll call here. Silver Vigilante, how you doing? How you doing? Purr Bear, how you doing? Jay, how you doing? Cold Dust 13, haven't seen your name here before. Welcome aboard. If you are new, go ahead and type in new and where you're from, and we'll go ahead and see if we can have some time to acknowledge you. Carrie Ellen Wilder, yes, time to saddle up and silver up. For sure, a lot of things happening again. Polynesian Pip, aloha. Matt, that. First time I've seen you here as well. Welcome aboard, Jeff 702. You know what? I hope so. Let's go. Silver 100. That's a nice number. I think a lot of us are really waiting for that number, but I can tell you if it gets to that number, I'm going to be happy for a minute or two, and then I'm going to hope it comes down just a little so I can go ahead and buy some more. So we'll see what happens there. Ron Leaper, how you doing? Gary T, 495. 495. A lot of familiar faces. Thank you all for being here and supporting us all this time. And if you are new, as always, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified on updates and give us a thumbs up if you like what we do. Always, we truly do appreciate the support and we thank you for it. And you can find us on social media. Silverbullion.com.sg is our website. We are a bullion dealer. Yes, we do sell gold and silver in Singapore, but more importantly, we specialize in wealth protection. And this is something that we really want people to know and understand, that if it's wealth protection you're looking for, it's something we understand. And we do have products and services to help you in that area. Silver Bullion SG is our Facebook handle. Silver Bullion PL is where you can find us on Twitter, PL for Private Limited. Audio versions, bit.ly, bit.ly, SBTV iTunes, and SBTV Spotify, and Telegram. If you have that Telegram app, A lot of guys have switched over from WhatsApp to Telegram. There's a bit more security with Telegram. Go ahead and get that app for your mobile phone or even for your desktop, and you can go ahead and join Crisis Tracker, our group, Crisis Tracker. And this is where my colleague Vincent, who's often working hard in the background, he goes ahead and fills up a lot of news items as it pertains to financial news, economic news, things like gold and silver. So do go ahead and join that Crisis Tracker group. Okay, so again, a little bit more of a roll call here. Just want to acknowledge some of you guys for taking the time to be here. Patrick Bateman, again, how you doing? Dizzy Willow, first time here. Welcome aboard. Haven't seen your name before. Uh, Paramotor Pilot, same thing. Paramotor Pilot. If you're actually doing one of those things, I give you credit. I mean, I see these big, kind of like hang glider looking things with little motors behind them, and guys go ahead and trust their life to that winged hang glider with the motor. Those guys are pretty awesome, pretty cool. Throttle, how you doing? The Mick 26, aloha, and also got one out there for Vincent. So saying hello to Vincent. Thank you, Mick 26. Appreciate it. And let's see what else we got out there. Alpine Maximus, Silver Vigilante again. Okay, so welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Thank you all. Thank you all once again for being here. So I'll get to our upcoming guest. I think most of you know him. He is going to be a return guest. He is Peter Schiff. So our upcoming guest will be Peter Schiff. Peter is the chairman of Schiff Gold, CEO and chief global strategist of Euro Pacific Capital Incorporated, and the host of the Peter Schiff Show, which I know a lot of you are familiar with. And Peter is an economic forecaster and investment advisor influenced by the free market Austrian School of Economics, and he is one of the few forecasters who accurately and publicly predicted the 2007 housing market collapse and subsequent 2008 financial crisis. So we're looking forward to our time with Peter. And again, subscribe, hit that bell so you'll know when that interview is ready to go. So what can I say? Looking forward to it. Peter Schiff, he definitely an original. And we will be playing our ebook giveaway, which we're going to be giving away rigged from our past guest, Stuart Englert. He is the author of this book. And we just had him last week, and he had a lot of interesting things to say. So I do hope you had the time to go ahead and take a look at his interview and watch it. Rigged, the largest financial fraud in history wasn't Enron's colossal accounting crimes, Bernie Madoff's record-setting Ponzi scheme, or the Lbma Bar scandal in which some of the world's biggest banks conspired to profit by manipulating interest rates. Nope. The largest financial fraud in history is one most Americans know little to nothing about. It isn't mentioned by politicians, reported on the nightly news, or discussed co-workers during the lunch break. So this will be the ebook prize that we're going to be giving away. And in fact, we're going to give it away to the first 5 people. The top 5, or the first 5 people who get it right within, I believe, about a minute and 30 seconds or so. If you get it right, we're going to be sending that ebook to you. And to get that book, you're going to have to download the Kindle app from your phone or tablet's app store. It is free. To be the first to answer correctly in this live stream before the timer runs out, U.S. winners will be given a link to download the ebook. Winners outside the U.S., unfortunately, Kindle or Amazon, they don't allow ebooks to be given away as gifts outside of the U.S., so we'll have to arrange some sort of alternate prize. And you are going to have to provide us an email during this live stream. So what we'll do is, as I mentioned before, my colleague Vincent is here. He'll be standing by, and he will mute your comments so that way you can go ahead and send us your email and nobody else will see it except for us. So a bit of privacy there as well. So having said that, this answer is going to come from Stuart Englert's past interview. And the question is, Stuart Englert sees the suppression of gold as a blank blank by the manipulators. So Stuart Englert sees the suppression of gold as a blank blank by the manipulators. It's going to be 2 words. So we're looking for these 2 words that Stuart Englert mentioned. So we'll go ahead and we'll go through it here, see who's got the correct answers. Okay, so go ahead and just take your best shot. Yes, Vincent is the MVP for sure. Okay, so go ahead and Stuart Englert sees the suppression of gold as a blank blank by the manipulators. So give it your best shot. Give it your best shot. Okay, so let's see what's coming in. Um, Let me see the comments here. Okay, comments coming in. Let's see. Polynesian Pip, organized retreat. Michael Surf, long game. Del Val Ponzi scheme. Jeff 702, criminal act. I like that one. Gotta like that one. Silver Warrior says organized retreat. Yeah, DU, big scam. I like that one as well. 49. Fine cash cow. Tanis Christie, precious metal. Patrick Bateman, strategy retreat. And let's see what else we got there. A few more seconds. Okay, looks like time is up. And the last one to answer, I guess, was Patrick Bateman looking at the comments. So we have three guys. Three guys. Well, we'll put that one in there. Four people who won, and they are as follows. They are Polynesian Pip. The answer is organized retreat. Polynesian Pip, you got it right first. And we have Silver Warrior, also saying organized retreats. We have Patrick Bateman, strategy retreat, close enough. And Emperor Bear, organized retreat. So we have four guys who went ahead and got it right. Great answers, though. Organized crime, asset bubble, really like it. So just to prove that that was the answer, I'll go ahead and play the clip from Patrick, or excuse me, from Stuart Englert.
I see suppression of gold as an organized retreat by the manipulators. They must periodically allow the price to rise, or all these inflated economic booms and bubbles would pop, and the whole powder keg would blow up. So the gold price is allowed to rise. It's used kind of like a pressure release valve to keep the financial system from exploding in a single event.
Okay, so organized retreat. What do you folks think of that? Because we've seen it happen so often. It's a game they play. I guess most obviously in comics, where we see the price go up, and then we see the price go down. A lot of times hammered down. Organized retreat, I guess, is what Stuart refers to call it. What do you folks think about that? Because a lot of times when you talk to traders, they will just tell you it's simply a function of supply and demand. And granted, they are not perhaps emotionally attached to it the way you and I are attached to perhaps silver and gold, but they see it as a function of supply and demand. A lot of traders do. But for you and me, we see it as a sort of manipulation. So I'm just a bit curious. Is this just a function of supply and demand, or is it really some type of manipulation going on? And I know there have already been proven cases, documents where there is manipulation going on. But if there is manipulation going on, why does it continue? So I'm curious to see what your answers there. So let me go ahead and take a look at some of the comments here. Okay, so price suppression, Val. You know what? I mean, I'm in that boat. I do agree that there is some type of price suppression going on. There's enough things in history that point to it. Things like London Gold Pool, where straight up governments were working with central banks to keep price of gold down, and they were doing it by putting in gold, taking out. I mean, they were trying to manipulate the price of gold through supply and demand, but it got to a point where people just wanted the physical, and they took the physical, and that London Gold Pool collapsed. They could no longer do it anymore. And this is something going on with silver right now, which is why we were looking forward to having Ivan on from Wall Street Silver, but we will get him on one day. We'll try again, and we can go through these things. So price suppression, I agree with you there. Let's see what else is out there. Let's see. Just want to take a look at a few more comments. Pablo Pina continues because there's no punishment, really. You know what? There's a lot of truth in that. I mean, we have not really seen, any let's just say jail time. We haven't really seen that. We've seen penalties, monetary penalties, but it doesn't make sense to get, have to pay $1 when you made $10. So there's no incentive to stop. No incentive to stop there. And as we mentioned before, Gary Gensler, who was the head of the or chairman of the CFTC at that time, who really didn't really do all that much, he's back again now as head of the SEC. So, it's going to be interesting. We had that man back there. He really didn't do all that much, and he's going to be heading up the SEC this time. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to go on with cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrencies are going to fall under the Securities and Exchange Commission. So going to be interesting to see what Gary Gensler is going to do there. So let me take a look at a few more comments. Pablo Pina, yep, absolutely. It's just fines. Let's see what else is out there. Looking for some comments here. Okay. All right. Okay. So Stephen Lyons. Yeah, why did it's okay. But I gotta admit, guys, Ivan was going to be a big part of the live stream today, and other than our interview with him, there really was not all that much going on. So we're just kind of winging it here, and we'll see how it goes. And I'll do my best to keep this up and running and keep you folks engaged. And having said that, I guess we should go ahead and take a look at the gold price. We'll head on over to our website, silverbullion.com.sg. Again, you can buy and sell metals with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. The demand out there, it's just growing and forever growing. So we're going to have to go ahead and acknowledge that. Two-factor authentication, this is something a lot of people asked for and wanted, and it's now a reality. US dollars, silver, 26.23, it's up about 20 cents. Gold, 1732.70, it's up about 380. And nickel, it did I guess we're using this word more and more often. Monkey hammering. He got monkey hammered last week, and it's gone down to 16,000. It was up over 19,000, so it has a way to go to get back up there. But the demand for nickel is certainly going to be there with electric vehicles. Nickel is one of the key components for electric vehicle batteries, and we know already that all across the globe, they're going to be moving towards electric vehicles. So nickel going to play a huge role. Investor Kit, just go ahead and click on it, and you can either look at it on the website or you can go ahead and download it. And again, there are quite a number of topics here to look at: why gold and silver, buying tax exempt bullion in Singapore. And this is something that can be an eye opener to people, especially in the U.S., where the gold eagles, a lot of people have gold eagles. The gold eagles, they are 1 ounce of silver, but they do have elements of copper and silver in them, which is why they do way more gram-wise than other coins. And because they have that silver and that copper in them, the overall makeup is no longer 4 nines. It becomes 916, 917. And for that reason, it is not considered to be tax exempt in Singapore. In Singapore, it needs to be at least 9995 or greater. And because the eagle has silver and copper and takes it down to 916, 917, it is taxable. So that's something a lot of people, we try to wrap our heads around and say, hey, wait, this is the gold coin. It is the gold coin, but those elements of copper and silver dilute the overall composition just a bit, where it's no longer 9999. So bullion genuinity guarantee. If you buy it from us, we guarantee you that it's genuine. When you sell it back, you will get paid as if it is genuine. So this is something a lot of people don't, a lot of vaults do not do. They don't guarantee the genuinity of your bars and coins in the vault. I mean, again, a lot of vaults do not check it. For us, when you store with us, we are going to check it, and we are going to let you know. We check it using our DUX test, which is density, ultrasound, and X-ray. We use 3 different forms to verify that your gold and silver are real. You can transfer it in, and you can also take out a loan against what you hold with us in storage. So this investor kit, go ahead and download it, or you can take a look at it on our website as well, just by clicking here on our homepage. And again, do sign up for an account. It's free. It is free. Looking at the gold silver ratio, 66.1. So it is trying to work its way back down to 65, which is where we were the other week. So trying to get back down to 65. This basically means it takes 66 ounces of silver right now to equal 1 ounce of gold price wise. Price wise. Okay. And featured products. Again, we do sell nickel because nickel is going to be, or it actually is starting to be in high demand again with electric vehicle batteries. So if you do want some nickel price exposure, this is the way to do it. Through physical nickel, you can buy a 250 kilogram drum, and it's as simple as signing up for an account, and here it is. You can just click store in the vault. We have 149 drums available. They are quarter of a ton. So this is a it's a good item right now. Nickel is going to be getting more and more. We're going to see more movement on nickel, that's for sure. Lbma bars, 1,000 ounce bars. A lot of you guys out there are kind of wondering what's going on with Lbma bars. I know there are stories of shortages in the States. It's getting harder and harder to get. For us, we are pretty well stocked. This number here, it was over 400 not that long ago, so it's working its way back down. It's come down quite a bit. It is in demand. A lot of people buy these bars because the premiums are lower. It's closer to spot, and they are liquid. Some people say it's not that liquid. For us, it's very, very liquid. So liquidity, a lot of times, it does depend on what part of the world you are in. So if we got two strong guys out there, you can come down to our shop in Singapore and take it home. If you're like me, maybe you can't carry that thing all that well. Go ahead and put it in storage. And again, for that, you would need to sign up for an account, and very easy to do. You can choose between personal, a joint, perhaps you and your spouse, a trust, a joint with a minor. This one is always good. A business account or retirement account. So you can select any one of these, and just some basic information here. Your name, your mobile number, not necessary, but country of nationality. Actually, it is necessary. Preferred currency. A lot of people store with us from all over the world, so they may want it in euros, they may want it in Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, Singapore dollars, US dollars. So let us know your currency, your name, password, just basic info. And for us, one of the more important things, references, go here and click YouTube SBTV. This also helps us out a lot. Newsletters, you can untick if you don't want newsletters. You can tick it if you do want newsletters. And this one here is I would say a very important feature to understand. You want to receive customer notifications via encrypted secure notification. If you're signing up for an account, I would suggest to tick this. The reason is when you get an email from us, if you're using Google or Hotmail or whatever it is, you're just going to get a notification saying you have email from Silver Bullion. The content, the body of the email is not in there. You would find out the rest by logging in, clicking on just log in, click on new notifications, and then you will see the message from us. So it's another layer of security. People want security nowadays, so this is what we do. As mentioned, we do specialize in wealth protection. So again, there are quite a bit of things that we can do for you. So just go ahead and sign up for that account. It's free. Go ahead and put Silver Bullion as your reference, and we can go from there, and just ask us whatever questions you have. Our customer service team is always more than happy to help out. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few more comments here, and then we'll go over and take a look at Twitter. A lot of interesting things that went on in Twitter news-wise. There you go. Quake Addict. Barrel of nickel for your wife's anniversary. That's how you do it. I kind of did the same thing. My wife had her birthday, and I bought her precious metals. So, so that's one way to do it. Always find an excuse to buy precious metals. Using your wife's birthday as an excuse, that'll work too. So go ahead and sign up for the account. It's always good. It'll always be there for you. So having said that, want to take a look at Twitter real quick. There were a few things that I saw there that I bookmarked that I guess we can discuss since Ivan won't be here. You know, a while back we saw this thing from World Economic Forum where they mentioned you will own nothing and be happy, something along those lines. So now they have this thing here where you can go ahead and rent things. It's like a library where you'd go to borrow books. You take out the book. Here you can go to a sort of like a rent library, I guess you could call it a tool library, and go ahead and rent tools so you don't have to buy tools. So I'm kind of interested to know what your opinion is on this because, as I said, things are changing, and we need to know, what are the things that are real, what are the things that are not real, especially when it comes to commodities, things with ETFs, things like that, because the world is quickly changing, and we need to know what the young people think. Okay, so basically, it's this all has to do with climate change again. The less resources we use, the more we save the environment. This is the World Economic Forum. This is part of their agenda, climate change, and this is one way they're looking at limiting again using up resources. So I'm just curious what what's your take on this right now? We're getting to this point where, as they did tell us, you will own nothing and be happy. So looking to see your comments. Mr. Nguyen, maybe we can rent gold and silver. Well, you can lease it. We do see a lot of leasing of gold and silver. Not with us. We don't lease it, but it's the reason why the precious metals markets do get the monkey hammering that they do. They lease the gold and silver, and next thing you don't know who owns it. 5, 10, 20, 100 different people think they own it. So maybe not. Let's not rent out gold and silver. Let's keep that for ourselves, our families. Okay, so what else is out there? Um, and then what? Thank you. Appreciate that. Stuart was a great guest to have, for sure. It's my first time talking with Stuart, and he shared quite a bit. He's very open, very engaging. So, again, Stuart, we thank him for coming on. Let me take a look at a few more comments here. Let's see. Tree climber honey. Here's the 100-ounce silver bar. Happy birthday! Tell you what, you can try it. You can try it. Um, it would be interesting to see what women have to say with that. But I saw a comment up here. I wanted to. I'm looking for it. It had to do with perhaps because a lot of people are hurting economically. So this whole, let's rent things. You may not be able to own something. That's coming more and more into play. So perhaps that might be it. So I just wanted to. I was looking for that comment, couldn't find it there. Um, Let me see what else is out there. Okay, let me get back to that Twitter feed. Okay, let's see what else was out there real quick. Okay, so that was one thing, and this is also making quite the news lately. NFT, non-fungible tokens. I tell you what, it's difficult, or it can be a difficult thing to wrap your head around. So I think maybe we should take a look at this. And I know you all are going to have a definite opinion on this one way or the other. Let me go ahead and make this a little bit larger so we can go ahead and see it here. This is from appleinsider.com. NFT, everything you need to know about non-fungible tokens. Okay, and this is, even in the office, we talk about it, and you know, we're trying to wrap our heads around it. The $69.3 million sale of digital artwork using non-fungible tokens, what we're going to know as NFTs, has generated interest in the relatively new technology. Here's what you need to know about what the tokens are and how they're being used to bring digital art sale dollars in line with paintings and sculptures. And I know Peter Schiff is going to have something about this that he will want to say. March 11, Auction House Christie's sold a lot. from artist Mike Winkelmann, known as Beeple, for 69.3 million. As Christie's is a major auctioneer that deals with highly valuable art, this isn't out of the ordinary until you realize that the sale was not for a traditional artwork. The sale of Everydays, the first 5,000 days, is claimed to be the first for a purely digital work of art via a major auction house. A collage of Beeple's daily digital art production, the work shows the artist's progression over multiple years, including changes in technique and style. The auction winner was identified as Meta Coven, the anonymous chief financier of the NFT centric fund MetaPurse. For their 69 million, the winning bidder acquired the non-fungible token linked to their artwork. Let's just get down to what are non-fungible tokens. The work token in a phrase refers to a digital token. Maybe they mean the word here. The word token in the phrase refers to a digital token, a cryptographic certificate for an object or item. Owning that token can infer ownership of something. Ownership of something. But it one be it one unit of a Bitcoin or some other currency. Sorry about that. The non-fungible element refers to the token being completely unique and having properties that cannot be easily changed for another token that can be similar but still different. For example, a Bitcoin is a fungible token, as a person could sell one and buy another, and it retains the same relative value of one Bitcoin unit. More simply, if you change a $10 bill at a bank to two $5 bills, you still have $10 on hand. Now, in the case of NFTs, since the token is unique and there's generally only one available, it cannot be switched out with another of a comparable value. This is the equivalent of having a magazine cover signed by Steve Jobs. Sure, you could trade with someone for another cover for the same magazine, but the one you would receive would not be the same one as you traded away. And since it's unique, there's no defined value to the NFT at all. While one Bitcoin may be worth 1 unit of Bitcoin, or $1 may always be worth 1 unit of dollars, the NFT can easily change in value and will always be priced based on other monetary systems like dollars. And how does it do it? It does it by the blockchain. So people may be familiar with the term blockchain, which is effectively a ledger of transactions. And let's just go down here. In the case of the NFT being associated with blockchain, this can allow for parties to check the validity of the NFT. Now, typically, this is built on top of one of the existing blockchains, such as Ethereum. The idea of an NFT can be applied in many different ways. For example, the sale of a ticket to an event could use an NFT for each ticket, which can help prevent it from being misused by others by keeping logs on the blockchain. So this is pretty interesting, this whole NFT thing. I mean, I'm still trying to pick up on it and learn on it. Maybe one of you or all of you out there may know a bit more about it. So I just want to run through the comments here and see what you have to say here. Let's see. Okay. So looking at the comments. Okay, hang on. Just let me run through them. See if I can pick one out. Okay, let's see. Paul, NFT remind me of tulips. This is something I'm sure Peter Schiff will have something to say regarding NFTs, because he did put a tweet out, which I will get to and show you folks. So, this is going to be an interesting topic coming ahead for sure. But I got to tell you, for me, I mean, I'll be really honest. When I think of Klaus Schwab over at the World Economic Forum, and when they talk about you will own nothing and be happy, this kind of stuff comes to mind. I could be wrong. This is just an opinion of mine. But when you have things like this, and I hear World Economic Forum, which is steering the world's economies, the world's countries right now, when they say things like you will own nothing and be happy, I think of the tool library where you don't own any tools, but you're going to be happy that you could use them to create something. And I think of the, things like NFTs. It's just a digital representation, and do you really own anything? But you're going to be happy, and it may even flow into Bitcoin. You own the Bitcoin, but physically, is there anything there? But you're happy. You're happy. So this is the economy that we're going into, an economy where we may not necessarily own anything, and we're going to be happy. So it's a bit of a twist for me. I don't know if Bitcoin fits into that category or not, but I'll let you folks decide. Some people will say, it's a different animal altogether. um it, it is, in a lot of ways it is, but I'll let you folks decide on that. you know Overall, it's just more to say that the drums of that phrase that he put out, you will own nothing and be happy. It's starting to beat louder and louder, and we're starting to see more and more things that fit that narrative that the World Economic Forum put out. So, going to be interesting. Let me see some comments here. Let's see. Stephen Lyons, do you see everything bubble coming? I think it's here. I think it's here, my friend. I mean, you look at the stock market. How can it be so high when so many people are out of work? We know it's being held up by the Fed since what, 2010, 2011. Stock market back then should have been, I believe it was 7,000 range, and now what, we're plus 30,000. But during that whole time, the Fed has been involved. So this is why I say, when I hear an economist say recovery, I run. I don't necessarily stick around to listen to that guy, because I know, and that why has it so called recovered? It didn't recover. It's just been reinflated by the Fed. And again, you guys know this. This is why you're buying your gold. This is why you're buying your silver. So, it just depends how you look at it, and your perspective, and understanding, what are narratives, what are truths, and really having to sift through it all. And it's not getting easy. It's really not getting easier, because truth somehow is being covered over by layer upon layer upon layer of narrative. And it's obvious, the powers that be, yeah, they do want us to move a certain way, and we do understand that. And this is why we look at things like wealth protection. This is why we look at things that can transfer our wealth, because we see it coming, and we have to do the best that we can, and try and stay ahead of the game. But there will be change for sure. So things are definitely in a bubble, without question. Ron Shackleton, digital tulips. eh, Like I said, I'm still learning about this as well. My first impression, yeah, digital tulip, yes, absolutely. But I'm open. I need to learn more about this, and I'm not closing the book on it. So it's just something that we really all have to try and learn as much as we can about it. So let me see what else is out there. Um, let's see. Okay, I think JJ Stacking. We own physical. Their digital is something else. And again, that's the reason why we own physical. We there is value in hanging on, holding that physical. Even though ETFs may tell you one price, spot price may be one price, having a true physical asset is something. It is a bit different. There may be more cost into it with premiums, maybe even perhaps storage, but uh, there's nothing like having the physical. It's all, my opinion, everything's going to come down to having physical. Same way where all the countries in the world may have to put all their gold on the table and account and see who has what. We're going to have to see who has the physical, who has just a paper claim, who has the real thing. And so I think guys who have the real thing definitely going to come out come out ahead. So let me go ahead and take a look at more of what was going on in Twitter. Let me scroll down again. So NFTs are going to be interesting, without question. This is something we're going to have to learn more about. SRS Rocco, Steve St. Angelo, U.S. scours the world for silver. Record number of countries exported metal during December 2020. And we all know what happened, around that time. Comics basically had to load up. They needed to load up because deliveries were happening, and we're still seeing deliveries going out. So there is a lot of silver in demand right now. The price may not be reflecting it, but rest assured, it will. A lot of great people, good people are calling for $30 and beyond silver. It's just a matter of time. So get it. I would say get it while you can. It's not financial advice. It's just what I'm doing. Maybe what you might also want to consider doing. So we can see number of countries as sources of U.S. silver imports for 2020. Definitely a spike. compared to the year before. So good work from Steve St. Angelo. And this is what I touched on with Peter Schiff. You snooze, you lose. Now, this is interesting. Peter Schiff was going to sell a tweet of his as an NFT. So this is pretty interesting. So he says, you snooze, you lose. I waited too long to accept the $4,000 offer on this tweet, setting up the wallet. The top bidder pulled out. I wonder what happened to the lower offers. Is the market for tweets already crashing, or just the market for Peter Schiff tweets? And this kind of goes back to the head of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, if I recall his name. He was going to sell the original tweet, and I don't know if it was bought or how much it was bought for. So this started this madness of NFT tweets, buying tweets. So Peter Schiff decided, hey, he'll go ahead and sell a tweet as well. Thinking of buying Bitcoin instead of precious metals. Think again. Peter Schiff explains why in an excuse in this video. So it was a tweet that he was going to sell, and guys actually bid on it. Let me make this a bit larger so you can see here. Okay, so guys actually bid on it. Some guy offered $28, some guy offered $25, and we had a guy offer $4,000. He was going to, I guess, pay using Ethereum. And it just to say that this is the meme economy at work once again. Look at the money here. Offered 2,000, 2,300, 1,500. So this is real. People actually offered money to go ahead and buy his tweet. I guess you just go ahead and type in your amount and you offer it up. And I don't know what happens on Peter's end if he goes ahead and selects the bid that he wants. But again, just to say, this is where things are going. So Peter Schiff sending out a tweet, same as Jack Dorsey did, and getting people to buy it. So we'll see if someone actually buys it. Wall Street Silver, unfortunately, Ivan won't be able to make it once again. They're doing a phenomenal job marketing, especially on Twitter. Join the Silver Raid March 15th. They're just calling for everyone to go ahead and pick up silver. I know I'm doing my part. I know you're doing your part as well. Jim Forsyth, this interesting graphic. I own silver. The Fed. One guy who has silver, he's not in control of the Fed here. We own silver. A little bit of more guys. Maybe they're not necessarily under the Fed's thumb again. And we all own silver, where basically real money, sound money, stands up to the Fed's fiat currencies or central banks, governments' fiat currencies, and real money prevails. Real money has the strength, has the power. So that's an interesting graphic there. TF Metals, Craig Hemke, 50 basis points to disaster. The Fed can resist it with ever greater amounts of printing press money, and certainly the Fed will. It's the only way. Let me ask you this question. Is the only tool the Fed have the printing press? I mean, no matter what they call it, it still comes down to putting more money in the system, right? Making sure there's credit, making sure there's liquidity. It comes down to their printing press. Do you folks think the printing press truly is their only tool, or do they have something else? So let's take a look at your comments here. Bought Asahi Silver yesterday. Yeah, Asahi, it's a great brand. A lot of people. Asahi is what JM Bullion was. So sorry, not JM Bullion. Johnson Matthey. Excuse me. Sorry about that, Michael Whitmire. I apologize. Over at JM Bullion. It's what Johnson Matthey was. Well, at least there's a J and an M in there, right? So Asahi took over Johnson Matthey, and that's what Asahi is. So if you wonder what happened to Johnson Matthey, it became Asahi. So again, JM Bullion, my apologies there, Michael. Sorry about that. So what else is out there? Let's see. Okay. Insane or what? I hold BTC. Hope metals outperform eventually. Yeah, that's interesting that you have both. I compliment you on that. I can say from the precious metals area, a lot of guys hold gold, hold silver, and they refuse refuse to hold or even look at Bitcoin. And a lot of guys hold Bitcoin and they refuse to look at precious metals. I would say you're the smart guy, the smart person who knows that he should be holding two. You should be holding perhaps Bitcoin, you should be holding gold and silver. I mean, the two actually do complement each other. They can complement each other. And so I think you're ahead of the game if you are able to understand both and accept buying both or holding both as opposed to one or the other. And if you can see the benefits in having both, you may be ahead of the game, because a lot of us were still um, anti Bitcoin, and a lot of Bitcoin guys are still anti precious metals, but the two really can complement each other. So I give you credit. I give you credit for being able to do that. I think you're in the right spot, and hopefully more and more of us, we can come to understand it a bit more and have both, hold both, and understand both. Michael Cole, stack everything, precious metals, food, energy, etc. It's a good point as well. Um, you just you just don't know right now with what's going on. A lot of uncertainty there. So having these things will give you some certainty and will give you some sense of relief, knowing that you hold these things that we all need. We definitely all need them. Let's see. Paul, you will own nothing and be happy. It's already here to some degree. Yeah, it is. Mortgages, shared rides, 72-month car loans. 72-month car loans. I remember they were just 3 years, 5 years before. Now 72 months. Um, Let me pull that comment back up again. Uh, they are going to just expand it. And I understand there was a representative in U.S. Congress. It was the from Minnesota, I believe she was from Omar. She's putting a proposal out where people should not have to pay rent or mortgages as long as there is COVID, or through the whole COVID period. Guys shouldn't have to pay rent or mortgage. And this is interesting because you're going to get people who will cheer. If you bought a home and you don't have to pay your mortgage for a while, you might be happy. If you're renting and you may not have to pay your rent, you're happy. But if you're the older guy, the ones who people like to call boomers, younger people like to call boomers. If you're that older guy that worked hard all your life, let's say you went to college, got your degree, you worked hard, were able to buy a house, and then you were able to buy perhaps a second house, and then you're renting it out, and you want to rent it out as part of your nest egg, part of your to supplement your pensions in your retirement life, your golden years. What are you going to do now? I mean, if you did all the right things, you got that second house, and that's supposed to be extra generated income for you through your retirement years. What are you going to do without that extra income coming in now? So I'm curious for you folks who have went this route. What are your plans, or what are you hearing? What are you seeing? And I think you've probably already gone through the bit where when they had the moratoriums on rent, and and basically when they had the moratoriums on rent. But what did you do? How did you get through it? Was there any income coming to you at that time? So I'm curious, because I'm not in that boat. So I'm just wondering, for you guys that were there or seen it, what did you go through? So let me take a look at some comments again here, and I'll continue on with a few more items on Twitter. Uh, Mutant Ref, absolutely NFT. You'll own nothing and be happy. I mean, again, this is something really trying to wrap our heads around, or at least I'm trying to wrap my head around. Um, Something very, very different for sure. Um, let's see. Jack Parsons, great point. It's not the price of silver, it's when they start pricing things on its value in silver. And again, this is something a lot of us do understand. This is something that a lot of times we forget. And this is something that new people that come into silver and gold, they don't quite understand at first. They're only looking at the price, and we see them, what's the gold price today? What's the silver price today? And often what runs through my mind at least is, do you know that there is more behind it than just price? What's your reason for buying it? Do you understand that it's a medium to long term investment? I tend to say it's more of an insurance. It is an insurance that has the possibility or potential, or it is an investment. Don't get me wrong, but I'm looking at it more from an insurance aspect because of where we are today. Wealth protection, wealth transfer, these types of things. So let me see what else is out there. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for someone if they had a home and went through the moratorium where their renter did not have to pay. What was the situation like, and was there any relief given to you, being that some income was not coming in anymore? Okay, so just want to run through this. Um, Brian Taylor, an NFT is not much different than a stock. You don't actually own part of the company. And I forget who it was, but somebody said something like this where, stocks were different before. You would buy stocks and you had some type of an ownership, but it's a bit different now. And I forgot the exact words that they used, but Brian, you're right. I agree with that. I just can't remember who said it was a few weeks back in one of our interviews. So that's a great point there. Let's see. Nicholas Nasty, late again. Yeah, you're late again. We had Ivan on, and Ivan spoke a lot about Wall Street. Just kidding. Ivan didn't make it, Nicholas. So you didn't really miss out that much. He wasn't able to make it. Ivan again from Wall Street Silver. So it's just us. It's just me and all of you out there. So for that reason, I won't keep you too long, but I would like to acknowledge some comments. It's always good to keep in touch with you guys and answer your questions out there. Let's see. Pablo Pina, copper. Copper has been doing really well lately, without question. Copper, nickel also until that little bit of a monkey hammering, and I think part of that was because there was some news coming out of China where they were finding ways to work with, let's say, the class 2 nickel to get it um, to be of class 1 quality. Class is, of course, what they use for the electric vehicle batteries. There's two different types of nickel, and only that class 1 type can actually be used. And this is what the battery manufacturers want. The class 2 has to be, let's just say, refined, purified a bit more, has to go through a longer process, a more costly process. So this is not what they want. They want the class 1 nickel, which can help keep the price of electric vehicles and their batteries lower. So there was some news came out from China, and that's why my understanding why nickel price had gone down. But we've seen this before. There's been news coming out from China saying they found a way to purify or refine the class 2 to be used or to be similar to class 1. We've seen it before. But same thing. Nickel comes down, then it'll go back up. So nickel's pretty good right now, without question. Okay, so let me see. I guess, yeah, I haven't seen any comment from someone who perhaps had a house and was renting it out. So and had that moratorium. So I guess I'll take a look at a few more items from Twitter, and then we'll just maybe have a chit chat a bit more, and then be heading out. Unfortunately, again, Ivan from Wall Street Silver could not make it. We'll get him on again at another time. Let's see. The Fed, yes, they're working. They are working to somehow control the bond yields, either through Operation Twist. They're either trying to flatten the yield up a bit that way, or perhaps even yield curve control. No doubt with that. So let me get down to, I think I have a clip from Greg Manarino. Here it is. Here it is down here. I just want to, this is the sign of the times. Texas man borrowed a BMW from a dealership, robbed a bank, then returned to buy the car with the stolen money. Sign of the times. This is where we are today. Borrow a car, rob a bank, come back with the money to buy the car. Okay, very interesting. So I'll just play this Greg Manarino clip, and it's 8 minutes long, but I won't play the whole thing. But let's just hear what he had to say. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Manarino. It is Sunday, March 14, 2021, and this is my newest segment of Markets Look Ahead. People, this is a big week. Actually, I'm excited about it. I really am. Why? We're going to hear from the Federal Reserve this week, and whatever comes out of the mouth of Yellowstone is going to move the stock market one way or the other. let's talk about what's going on here. I mean, it's no secret. It's everywhere. Everyone's talking about the bond market, the bond market, the bond market. It's something I've been talking about like since forever. Yeah. Uh, Again, it's the debt market or the bond market, which is the main driver of everything right now. It's a monster bubble, monster. And the debt market bubble is inflating on a pace that we cannot possibly believe. The Federal Reserve's balance sheet just in the last year has gone up 100%. I want you to think about that. And they're not done. We just heard from the European Central Bank. They're going to buy more assets or more debt. The Federal Reserve, as we all know, and this is common knowledge, you can go to the Federal Reserve's website and look this up for yourself, is buying at least $120 billion per month. It's incredible, really. At least $120 billion per month of debt, mortgage-backed securities, assets. There's no cap. The Fed will follow suit. The market knows it. Now, let's back up to the last time Fed Chair Yellowstone, Powell, rocked the debt market. He raised the specter of inflation. Now, he knows better than anybody on the planet that the specter of inflation is kryptonite for the debt market, which will hit the stock market. Very simple. By him raising the specter of inflation, we watched the 10-year yield spike rather significantly. That put pressure on the market. Stocks sold off like 1,000 points in 2 days. And then what happened? They floated out former Fed Chair Yellowstone, Janet Yellen, and she said, oh, no. Hold on a minute. I don't really see that happening, and the market loved it. Okay, then we got record high. That's the way it's going to play out. So this week, it's going to be more than interesting to see what comes out of the mouth of Powell. Is he going to once again raise the specter of inflation? Here's my take on it. The Federal Reserve desperately wants to institute yield curve control. This gives them more control, a bigger reason to create more cash out of thin air and buy everything. The stock market wants yield curve control. Understand, if the Federal Reserve institutes yield curve control, I'm not saying they're going to do it this week. They're just setting the groundwork. You understand? If the Fed institutes yield curve control, the stock market's going to go ballistic. It's going to go much, much higher. We'll get a multiples expansion cycle like you cannot believe. That's how it's going to play out. There's just no doubt about it. And it more than likely, at least in theory, should hit the dollar. Should hit the dollar. The dollar should get weaker. Okay, that's also stock market positive. You understand? Okay. So the only question is, does Fed Chair Yellowstone or the Federal Reserve as a whole want to cause more turmoil in the debt market deliberately so they can institute yield curve control? Maybe. Okay.
Okay, so I'll I'll end it there. Pretty interesting points from Greg Matarino. What do you folks think is going to happen when Jerome Powell comes up? You think he's going to be? Will he say yield curve control? I don't think he will yet. I do not think he will yet. I think I'm in that boat with a lot of guys who have this who believe that there's going to need to be a little bit of pain where the market calls out for yield curve control, which then gives the Fed the green light to go ahead and implement it. I think we're not there yet, but we've all been here already. We've been on this ride for so long. We know how it works. Where as some guys like problem reaction solution, and I admit I never really cared to hear that before, but as the years went by, and you just have to look. You just look around and you do start to see things like that. And again, it is another reason why people do buy gold and silver. They know there are problems out there. There are going to be reactions to them, and the solutions that they may be looking for may not be the correct solution. So again, they are finding ways to store your wealth, to flip that fiat into something more tangible, something physical, real money. So that's a great point that Greg Manarino brought up. And as my colleague Vincent here just said, buy physical gold and silver first to protect wealth. That is true. I mean, we said this before. If you have auto insurance, home insurance, life insurance, all of these different types of insurance, well, what do you have for money insurance? And years back, when I remember I had said this word to some people, money insurance, they looked at me, pretty weird. Maybe they still do if I say the word money insurance, but it is a word I think you're going to hear more and more about because one of the most important things we have, of course, besides family, is money. One of the most important things we do have, fortunately or unfortunately, is money, and yet we don't insure it. There's no insurance company out there offering you insurance for your money, and that's because it's left to you. There's no money to be made for them, but there's all the money in the world to protect for you, and that's where you need to really, really try and understand what silver and gold do, and understand when you want to know what the price is, more importantly, perhaps understand what the function is, and what the metals do. So let me look at a few more comments here. And again, unfortunately, Ivan's not here, so I don't want to keep you guys too long since the star of the show couldn't make it, but I'm glad you did. So let me see. Dan Kuzmic, first time I've seen you here. Welcome aboard. Fiat is not money. Um, yeah, it's true, and we are seeing that. You look at the how much money the Fed or currency the Fed is printing. Um, just think of a Mona Lisa. If there were only one Mona Lisa painting in the world, that thing is priceless. But if you go ahead and you make trillions of them, it's not worth as much as if there were less of them. And this is what happens with the currency. You keep printing them, they're not going to be worth as much as they were when there were less of them. You can go ahead and look back to 1913. Federal Reserve was established. First dollar came out, I should say, from the Federal Reserve, and you could buy $1 worth of goods and services. Okay, fair. You look at today, I think that dollar can only buy you about what is it now? 3 cents of goods and services. So that dollar has absolutely lost its purchasing power. And you can easily go and look that up. And again, this is why things like gold and silver absolutely hold your purchasing power, the value of your money, of your currency. Let me take a look at a few more comments. Built for tough, MMT coming. Oh, that one. Yeah, I'd have to agree, or some form of it. I mean, I'm with you there. It's almost impossible to be printing up all this money and not thinking of a of a consequence. There has to be some consequence to it. But guys who uh who are for MMT, they aren't worried about the consequence. They don't see any consequence in going ahead and do it. And that opens up a whole can of worms because, I mean, straight up, guys, if the Federal Reserve is going to print all this money, why are you paying taxes? Why do you pay taxes? They can just print the money up and give it to the government at this point. We're all seeing it happening. So if they can go ahead and bail out corporations, things like that, why are you paying taxes? Why do we have to pay taxes? So it's a very strange is not the word, unfair is not the word, but it's starting to not make sense anymore. And I guess technically, why do you pay taxes? Well, because the Fed can't give money to the government unless there is collateral, and if the government is saying our tax revenue is collateral, then the Fed legally can go ahead and issue money towards that. So perhaps that's the reason why there has to be some type of collateral. So government may be saying our taxes are collateral, and that's why we're stuck paying the taxes. It's kind of similar to, we can go back to the I think it's Article 1, Section 10, Article 10, Section 1, somewhere thereabouts in the Constitution, where no state shall, basically it's saying states have to use silver and gold. And a lot of us are like, see, it's here in the Constitution. What are Reserve doing? Well, by definition, legally, it says no state. It doesn't say the federal government. And that's the loophole. That is perhaps the loophole that the Fed can use to go ahead and use something other than silver and gold. Our states aren't creating the money. Federal Reserve is. So again, that's a loophole, and that may be the same type of thing where the the Fed can't give money unless there's collateral, and the government says, okay, our collateral is taxes. So, but I think it's going to get to a point, you know, it's getting to a tipping point. Guys who are paying attention, fully understand this. So let me see what else is out here. Rick Golfman, a silver quarter in 1960, bought a gallon of gas, 25 cents a gallon. Silver quarter in 2021 buys 1+ gallons of gas, 26 ounce preservation. Rick, you're right. You know what I like in this too is if you go back and look at the 64 and pre-64 or pre-65 quarter, 64 and earlier, these were 90% silver. Okay, if you go ahead and you take $1.50, 6 quarters, 3 half dollars. Remember those Kennedy half dollars, those Franklin half dollars, walking Liberty dollars. If you take just $1.50, okay, that today, $1.50, or let's just use quarters, 6 quarters, comes out to a little bit more than an ounce of silver. If you weigh up those 6 quarters, you have more than an ounce of silver. Okay, and that's factoring in the 90% silver content. Those 6 quarters are worth what, $26, $27 now, because they add up to an ounce of silver, over an ounce of silver. But yet the face value is just $1.50. And today we have people really wanting a $15 minimum wage. And Rick, you're on it where that is the problem. We were robbed. They stole our money by removing the silver. So again, people wanting $15 an hour. Well, take a step back. Do you know that all you need is $1.50 had they kept the silver in? Because that $1.50 by weight of a quarter is now $26, $27. And that's where it's at. So Fed, absolutely, government, the Fed, they've stolen our time, our labor, our work. They've stolen our money by doing things like this. And this is where you need to take it back. You need to take it back by understanding silver and gold and going from there. The Mick 26, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Can get some silver with that. Thanks, buddy. Here's a little lunch. Thank you. We have one rental property, and luckily our tenants have continued. That's awesome. They continue to pay. As for NFTs, let me pull this back up. As for NFTs, I don't see the value in them either. Have a great day, buddy. Mick, you have a great day as well. I appreciate that. Definitely will invite the gang to lunch on that. And that's the point. Really, what are NFTs? You will have nothing and be happy. Kind of falls back into what World Economic Forum has said, what Klaus Schwab has said. But Mick, you're fortunate. That's really great news that your tenant was able to pay and kept paying. That's awesome. That's really, really great news. I'm really happy for you there. A few more comments. Let's see. All right, Mark Schaefer. Funny, the people that own everything want us to own nothing. Yeah, it's that's really the odd part. That's the world's changing. And again, as I've always said, you look at specifically the states. You look at Congress. There's a lot of old guys in there. A lot of old guys. A lot of women who have some age on them. They're going to be gone. They will be gone, and it's going to be younger people who will fill the halls. And these younger people like their cryptocurrency. They may like this NFT. And as we said before, it's really strongly becoming a meme economy, and it's something that a lot of us may not understand, may not agree with, but we're not going to be in the driver's seat. It's going to be the younger people who are taking the steering wheel right now, and this is what they want. So we have to be able to understand what it is they want, understand how they see us, perhaps understand how we see them. And, you look at these things, NFT, it's what they want. Cryptocurrencies is what they want. So we're going to have to, find that balance between perhaps having some crypto and having some gold and silver. So, it's just something to keep in mind. We may not agree with it, but it's something that we gotta keep in mind. So again, Mick 26, thanks for lunch. I know Vincent's happy. I'm smiling as well. We're looking forward to that lunch. But having said that, again, I apologize. Ivan wasn't able to be here. I thank you really for hanging out with me for an hour. Won't keep you too much longer. So again, appreciate you being here. Last comment here, Brian Taylor. You'll be forced to spend all of your UBI or have it forfeited. That's a great point, especially if we're going digital. That's a great point. Saving will not be tolerated. Bye. It's the Western capitalist way. Brian, that's a great point, because if we do head towards central bank digital currencies, which we know we are, they will absolutely be able to throttle your accounts and create effective, to them anyway, effective monetary policy to get you to do what they want you to do. They wanted you to spend, you didn't spend, right? They've been trying that for 10 years. And as Jerome Powell said, he kind of laid the blame on our fault, where we should have appreciated these lower prices, deflationary prices. So it's almost like scolding us in some way that we should appreciate it, because now when when things rise, we don't want you to complain. You should be happy with what you had before. So we'll see what Jerome Powell says later on this week. So again, I'll just skim through this real quick, and yeah, again, Vic, thank you very much. Thank you, appreciate it. So we'll be heading out again. Apologize for not having Ivan. It may be why you came here, but it was nice seeing your comments. A lot of times I get into a program and I don't get a chance to speak with you all that much. So I appreciate you being here, engaging with you folks, and just remember, we're all in this boat together. Be a blessing and not a burden. A lot of people are going to have burdens, so we need to try and be the blessing that we can, or that we've been in a position to be. And as always, saddle up for what's coming ahead, and silver up as well. And I'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you being here. And let me just flip through some things real quick. Just want to make sure I get everything in there. Okay. Yep. I guess that's about it. Ron Sheckleton, last one here. UBI is the death of the dollar and all fiat currency. Could be. But again, thank you all for being here, and we'll see you again next week. Saddle up and silver up. Take care.